Hello everyone. I'm going to make a presentation on economic policy, uncertainty and capital expenditure decisions, a quantile regression approach. Firms postpone their investment decisions when macroeconomic environment is uncertain, as demand scenario becomes unclear and return on assets declines. However, theory also suggests that firm may initiate capital expenditure as soon as macro environment starts recovering to take first mover advantage. If firm delays investment, keeping all other variables constant, cash holding of the firm is bound to go up, and hence high cash holding firms face higher impact due to rising policy uncertainty. Hence, for a manager, it is always dichotomy to expedite the capital expenditure decisions or to hold cash. Further, it is not well known that EPU has homogeneous impact across the capital expenditure distributions. Specifically, it is not well documented that lower capital expenditure quantiles have more or less impact than higher quantiles. Thus, this paper examines the influence of EPU across capital expenditure distributions. We have taken sample of Indian manufacturing sector because India is focusing on Make in India program to increase the contribution of manufacturing sector to GDP from current 16% to 25% by 2022. Manufacturing sector is also of high importance for Indian economy because of its high multiplier effect on employment. As for each job created in manufacturing, 2 to 3 jobs are created in service sector. Hence, India is targeting two important current economic urgent demand through this MII program: higher GDP and lesser unemployment. However, it is important to point out here that EPU index of India has remained high volatile post 2014 as seen from Baker et al. 2016 index. Hence, it is important for the government and policymakers to examine the impact of policy uncertainty on capital expenditure decisions of the firm so that government and the government can identify the targeted policy for each quantiles. We have skipped the literature review part to save the time, and we hypothesize that higher capital expenditure commitment firms have high irreversibility cost than lower capital expenditure commitment firms. And hence we hypothesize that EPU impacts firms falling in higher quantiles of capital expenditure distributions more than those falling in lower quantiles. So we hypothesize a heterogeneous impact. We have taken data from CMIE, Center for Monitoring Indian Economy for 2000 to 2020 period. EPU data was collected from Baker et al. 2016 index. The index data for EPU index data for India is available from 2003 onwards, and hence after eliminating all those non-available or non-listed firms from the sample, we have finally 6,243 firm year data of 756 unique manufacturing firms between 2003 to 2020. Empirical models, the objective of the study is to compare estimates from least square model to those produced from quantile regression functions. To achieve this objective, we estimate the conditional mean regression as shown in equation number 1, where beta and gamma are important coefficients that we are focusing. X are various independent variables, and PU is your policy uncertainty with 1 year lag period. The quantile regression equation, which have been estimated using equation number 2, is presented here, where beta tau and gamma tau are coefficients for various quantiles, and these are important or coefficients of interest for us. When we present the definitions of the variables have been presented here, where economic policy uncertainty, we have taken natural logarithm of the monthly data as taken from Baker et al. 2016. The correlation statistics shows that PU has significant correlation with capital expenditure decisions at 1% level of significance. These triple star shows 1% significance level. They are significant at 1% significance level. 2 shows at 5% and 1 shows at 10. The coefficient estimates from model 1 and 2 are presented here. The table shows that each coefficients are significant at 1% level of significance, and the quantile coefficient shows that PU and other independent variables have significant impact at 1% significance level, and they are varied in nature as well. Then we move next to plot the graph of policy uncertainty, its impact on capital expenditure by taking 5% interval of quantiles. The diagram shows here that it has varied impact over the quantiles. So our hypothesis of heterogeneous impacts get accepted here. Then we move to our next important aspect, that will Indian manufacturing sector attract more capital expenditure because of higher growth opportunities. By taking growth opportunity proxy as market to book value. This diagram also shows there is a heterogeneous impact of market to book value ratio over the quantiles. One more important interpretation we can see here, that MB has negative relation with capital expenditure. So it raises a question and leaves a scope for future study, that has Indian manufacturing firms entered into a phase where marginal profits are no more attracting extra capital expenditures in Indian manufacturing sector, and hence can principle of acceleration through corporate tax reduction is the only option to attract new investment. And hence through this paper we have made two important policy implications. First is that policy uncertainty has varied impact over the quantiles, and the second is that market to book value as growth opportunity has negative relation with the capital expenditure. These are the references. Thank you.